Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for our roundup of what's new in Amazon Connect from May 2025 since our last video. First up, in forecasting capacity planning and scheduling, you can now remove agent schedules in bulk, making it easier to manage your schedules. A couple of examples given, you might want to remove all schedules for next Monday as the contact center is going to be closed for a public holiday. Or maybe you might want to remove all future shifts for an agent who's no longer with the organization. Staying on the FCS theme, you can view real-time schedule adherence on the queue and agent performance dashboard. The usual filtering, sorting, and formatting you'd expect from the Connect dashboards is available. So, for example, highlight adherence duration in red after it exceeds a certain duration. And let's check out a screenshot from the admin guide, just showing what it looks like. We can see a group of agents with their adherence statuses and the duration that they've been in that status. And as mentioned on the previous slide, the red highlight is conditional formatting applied on the adherence status duration. So a threshold's been set over which the shading goes red. Next up, on outbound campaigns, there are some new metrics and dashboard options available. So we have metrics available around campaign progress rate, campaign send exclusions, recipients attempted and interacted, and recipients targeted. So these give you deeper insight into the progress of your in-progress campaigns. They're available via the Get Metric Data V2 API and also via the Zero ETL data lake, and also as widgets in the outbound campaigns dashboard. So let's take a quick look at that dashboard. A couple of screenshots of dashboard widgets here, showing the send exclusion breakdown on the top left, and then the recipients targeted versus recipients attempted in the bottom right. Next, updates to the describe contact API. That gives loads of information about a contact all in one place. Potentially, you might have had to have pulled it together from multiple sources, but more information's been added to it. So things like disconnect reasons, recording status, contact attributes added to the pre-existing ones there, all within the output of the single API call. So really nice for your custom reporting applications. Another FCS addition, you can now grant administrator access to agent schedules. So certain users can access and edit all published schedules, but without having to be added as a supervisor to every staff group. I know this was a particular pain point for one of our customers, so really happy to see this one come along. In the console, it looks a bit like this. You need to go to scheduling, then to staff rules. Then you can select your users over on the left here, and you can use the access to all published schedules option, then apply to staff. And just one note, one little caveat, the user does still need the schedule manager edit permission in their security profile. For those of you in US public sector or government, in Connect in the US GovCloud region, so the secure environment for government customers, you're now able to use some of the reporting dashboards which were introduced a while back to the main Connect regions. Nice to see that the feature parity is catching up all the time in the GovCloud region. Now we have some additional regions supported for WhatsApp business messaging and SMS. Great news for folks in those regions. I couldn't actually easily tell which regions had been added from the documentation. I think probably the some of the APAC regions. I've just included the full list of supported regions there. So happy days if you use one of those regions and you're looking at SMS or WhatsApp capabilities. There's pretty good coverage across regions now. Next up, there's a new agent hierarchy groups table in the data lake. So that should make it easier to add agent hierarchy detail into your custom reporting applications, which previously you might have had to try and pull in from another source. The next one, I have to say I wasn't particularly aware of Omnissa as a VDI environment. It's a VMware product. I'm not sure if it's sort of recently been renamed, but yeah, I hadn't particularly come across that one. But in a similar way that it's offered for other VDIs, you can now have your call audio redirected from the agent desktop direct to Amazon Connect. So removing the potential multiple network hops and latency that you might get if you're routing audio through that VDI session. It does appear to require a bit of custom desktop development to make it happen, so it's not totally plug and play, but yes, it sounds fairly straightforward and like it would be worth considering if you're using that particular VDI. Now we've got some sad news for voice biometrics fans. Amazon Connect Voice ID is being phased out. No more new customers will be accepted for the service as of right now. As an existing customer with an account already signed up for the service, you can use it until next May. And then after May 20th, 2026, you'll no longer be able to use Voice ID at all. The page in the admin guide linked to in the slide there, it gives a couple of alternative options. So there are third-party offerings from various people, including Pindrop, which is the one linked to in the page. Pindrop is available via AWS Marketplace. Another suggestion just for improving contact center security is perhaps to build a solution using one-time pins sent via SMS. And there is again in that page, there's a link to a post about doing that. Also a suggestion with the announcement that if you are using Voice ID, you take some time between now and next May to review and or delete any data about enrolled Voice ID callers before the service is phased out. And let's keep an eye out to see what might be next from AWS here. I wonder if there'll be anything else coming along to plug this gap in some way or another soon. Next, we have some quota additions and changes for email. There are some new ones for total email addresses per inbound email and total file attachments per email. So neither of those can be adjusted at present. And then updated quotas for email contact expiry, email domains per instance, and email addresses per instance. So just providing a bit of extra headroom if you do need to update those, you can. And the final one on there was apparently incorrectly documented as a hard limit, whereas it can be adjusted. So quite useful stuff if you're using email there. Now we have an enhancement for tracking hold duration at an individual agent level during multi-party calls. This introduces a new contact record field, agent initiated hold duration, which is the total time in whole seconds that a specific agent placed a customer on hold. So in multi-party scenarios, if agent A puts a customer on hold and then drops from the call, and agent B later takes the customer off hold, the remaining hold duration is attributed to agent B. And the key distinction between customer hold duration and agent initiated hold duration, so the existing and the new fields, customer hold duration tracks all hold time from a customer's perspective. Agent initiated hold duration tracks hold time initiated by the specific agent. So yeah, where you've got that multi-party call scenario going on. And in non-multi-party scenarios, those two fields, customer hold duration, agent-initiated hold duration, will be the same, apparently. We spoke about external voice transfer a couple of months back, so being able to, without using a PSTN transfer, setting up a connector between Connect and another third-party external system. At the time, when we spoke about it, it had received a price cut from what I thought was a fairly outrageous launch price down to something a bit more realistic, which is great, and it was a huge price cut, which is really good. Now it's been opened up to 5 more regions, including London and Frankfurt, so that's definitely of interest to some of our EMEA-based customers. Finally, for this month, an interesting GitHub project from a Connect solutions architect at AWS, Ryan Headland. Ryan's developed this voice cherry picking solution, which allows agents in Connect to have a live view of what's in their queue. It's presented as a third-party app within the Connect agent workspace. It allows them to select individual calls from the queue and cherry pick the one they want to handle. I've not really heard from any of my customers about a use case for this on voice, but I guess Ryan must have had one to have developed this. But I can immediately see it could be really useful for email, so being able to cherry pick rather than sort of the first in, first out approach. Anyway, I thought it was a really interesting use of the components and the API calls used to pull all this together. So thank you, Ryan, for that. And that's it from me. Let's catch up again next month, where I hope we might have one or two interesting updates following Customer Contact Week in June in Las Vegas. See you next time.